ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching our station at the entrance to Main Street, USA, gateway to the 7 theme lands of the Magic Kingdom. Please collect your belongings, watch your head and step, and take small children by the hand. We hope you enjoy your day at the Magic Kingdom.
Broadcasting live from 38 Studios in Providence, this is the Go Ask Mickey podcast, helping you with the tips, tricks, and the tools needed to save you time and money on your next Disney vacation. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, send them to goaskmickey@gmail.com.
How's it going, everybody? Thank you all for downloading and listening to this week's episode of the Go Ask Mickey podcast. My name's Jerry from GoAskMickey.com, and this is episode number 42 for the week of March 26th, 2018. On this week's episode, we are taking a look at the new and improved Pop Century Resort. But first, we're going to talk about little things about what's going on right about now. Now is springtime, finally getting to better weather. It's taken a while, but we're getting there. And I want to talk to you about spring travel. A lot of spring break. People are taking spring break nowadays. I want to talk to you about an article that I read over the airlines record 151 million passengers to fly this spring. Now, airlines, a record 151 million passengers will fly this spring. There's an article on USA Today travel section, and they say that the sky remains a limit for spring travel, with airlines projecting Wednesday another record-setting holiday season with nearly 151 million passengers. The 4% year-over-year gain in travelers during March and April comes on top of a record number of travelers for all of 2017. According to Airlines for America, a trade group represented most of the largest carriers out there. The average is 2.47 million daily passengers, means about 94,000 more passengers will fly each day as compared to the same period last year. That's a lot. According to Airline Group, airlines are responding to the increased demand by adding more flights and bigger planes on existing routes. So they're compensating for that gain. The group says that this will add an average of 114,000 seats each day. Travelers that are taking to the skies this spring in record numbers, thanks to, persistently low fares, unsurpassed levels of investment in the product, and increasing competition and access for passengers of all regions, age groups, and income levels. So the prices have come down, and as long as you're not flying the Delta with the dog thing, I think you're okay. An expanding economy, employment gains, and surging household net worths are also contributing to the growth and demand for air travel. A lot of people are going out there. A lot of people are taking off, flying wherever they want to go, and this spring break is proof of that. So if you're flying anywhere, mostly Walt Disney World to MCO, Orlando, wherever you're traveling, be prepared to wait a little longer. You might be paying cheaper, but there's a lot more people flying, so it might take you longer to get there. Hey, remember, check out the Facebook page over at facebook.com/GoAskMickey and give us a like over there, and follow us over at Twitter at GoAskMickey1. We're always updating and putting stuff on those websites. Got a follow-up on the minivans coming to Walt Disney World. The minivans have been in effect for quite a while, for a little while, and they've been doing expansions of these minivans throughout all of Walt Disney World. And what they did is they added more resorts as well as the price increase. So it's $25. It's $25 anywhere on resort property. or Walt Disney World property. And they've also added a airline drop-off and pickup, I believe, for $150. So, if you want to be picked up or dropped off in the minivans, it's going to cost you $150 each way. Now, they've also just recently added we did this back in episode, I think, 38. We talked about the minivans. And they recently added economy vans for handicapped accessible wheelchairs. So they added a new van to help you with assisted EVCs or whatever they call them, wheelchairs, so that you can get in and out easier and you'll have no problems there. If you have any questions, send them on over to goaskmickey@gmail.com. And we will be right back. We're going to head on over to the news desk and see what's going on this week around the world.
Good evening. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world tonight.
Alright, here's some things that are going on this week around the world. So this week, Disney starts getting ready for Halloween. Pirates of the Caribbean returns from their refurbishment, and a new entertainment option is announced for World Showcase at Epcot. This week we have the Halloween events are now being booked. What? Even though it's only March, people, Disney has made 2 of its Halloween events available to book now, as of today. First up is Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, which features more dates than ever, and now begins in the middle of August. The middle of August. Nice and hot. The earliest this event has ever been offered. This year's party will also be, surprisingly, more expensive than ever as well, with ticket prices rising from $3 to $10 for most nights. Also now available for booking is the return of the Sleepy Hollow event at the Fort Wilderness Resort campgrounds. That revolves around a 1937 animated film, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. This is a really cool thing. The event starts off with a screening of this movie at the Tri-Circle D Ranch over at the Wilderness Resort, Fort Wilderness, and then it's followed by a meet and greet with the Headless Horseman himself. So you get to take a picture with you and the Headless Horseman. It's kind of weird, but you get that really cool picture. Guests who attend this event will also be able to take home an exclusive limited edition pin, and this event is offered to 2008 on certain dates. So I'll put a post up and you can check those dates out there. There's also new entertainment coming to World Showcase, a German rock band, Dersch, let me say this right, Dersch and Dersch. Dersch and Dersch is coming soon to German Pavilion at Epcot, bringing a fresh pop rock sound to the stage. This begins on March 30th, and this group will perform Fridays and Tuesdays at certain times, so check them out. There's also a Spyglass Grill over at the Caribbean Beach Resort that is now open, offering guests a walk-up counter service over at the south side of the resort, so the back end of the resort. They serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Located near the pool in the Trinidad South, and it's open daily from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. So check that out. I heard it's really good. They needed something over at Caribbean Beach because the food over there has been terrible lately. Moving on, we got Jessie moves into Toy Story Land along with Buzz and Woody. Though Jessie has been MIA from the character meet and greet scene for some time, it looks like this character will be joining Buzz Lightyear and Woody when Toy Story Land opens on June 30th. So instead of having a specific spot where they meet the guests like Woody and Buzz do now in, I believe it's Pixar Place area of the park, it looks like these characters will be wandering around Toy Story Land, meeting guests throughout the day. Kind of like Disneyland does, where they walk around, so that it has a different feel in that land itself. So that'll be cool to experience when you're in Toy Story Land once they open. The next story we got is the pretty big one. It's Pirates of the Caribbean reopens with the new Redhead scene. Now this week's Pirates Caribbean reopened after a closing of refurbishment that was previously announced of the scene auctioning off women is now gone. They took that out and they are instead auctioning off stolen goods. And this has always been a controversial closing and reimagining of this ride because people don't like the changing of the ride. But it's just something different. They do this all the time. You know, whether you like it or not, they're going to do it. So hopefully you like it because this is staying. And I believe that's it. That's it for this week. Last week we missed the show. We were away for the week. We did a Muppets Presents Great Moments in History over at the Magic Kingdom. And that's it. That is it for this week over in the news around the world. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and talk about taking a look at the new and improved Pop Century Resort. We got all that coming up next, so stick around. Don't go anywhere.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
It's the all-new Leave It to Beaver, starring Barbara Billingsley, Hugh Beaumont, Tony Dow, and Billy Idol as the Beaver.
Dear, it wasn't her to home. Did you notice how he had his hair cut this afternoon?
No, I didn't see him. Did he have it cut too short?
No, but you should see what he had that barber do to him. Why, it's up on the side, and in the back it sort of goes all like this, and it's all full of oil. Well, honey, I can't describe it. You just have to see it.
Well, let's take a look at it.
You see what I mean? Isn't that terrible?
It certainly is.
He just looks like a gangster. You know, the next thing he's going to be wearing a leather jacket and motorcycle boots.
Come now, dear. You've been watching too many of those live television shows.
Wouldn't you think he could see how ridiculous he looks to us?
Well, I'm sure he will see sooner or later, June, but in the meantime, it's practically impossible for parents to make a boy see himself through their eyes.
Well, I wish he'd see himself through somebody's eyes. I've just about had enough of this.
Beaver, would you pipe down? You're making me nervous.
Welcome back. You're listening to the High Priest of the Church of the Disney Nation. And this week we are taking a look at the new and improved Pop Century Resort. Now, Disney has over 25 resorts on property, from amazing things all the way to the small and quiet and to the large and noisy. Now, they have separated them into 3 categories. They go deluxe category from $400 to $600 a night. They have the moderates, which are from $200 to say $400 a night. This is an estimate. This is an average. And then they have the values, which go from, I hate to say nothing, but $0 to $200 a night. So those are the categories of the values, and the Pop Century Resort is a value resort and probably one of the best resorts on property. Now, there are some resorts are so large that you need to take a shuttle bus to and from your room. So when you're planning a Disney vacation like this, Disney does not make it easy to pick on which one to stay at. Now, sometimes the prices of these resorts make that decision for you, and they can make it easier that way. Now, in the value category, you have all-star music, all-star sports, all-star movies, as well as the Pop Century and Art of Animation. They're all pretty much centrally located. And those are the 5 value resorts. Each one is great, but the one value that has risen basically to the top lately has been the Pop Century. Now this week I want to talk to you about the new improvements and take a look at those. They have been going on for this resort, but first let's go over and take a look at the current highlights of this resort and the unique theming that it has. This is called the Classic Years. This resort is based off of the Classic Years, and it was built, well, it opened on December 14th, 2003. Now it was themed around icons and memories from the 20th century, all the way from Mr. Potato Head to the mood rings, all the way to rollerblades. Each section of the resort represents a different decade, all the way from the 50s to the 90s and in between. And they house over 2,800 rooms. That's a lot of rooms. Now, the legendary years, this was a planned resort. The legendary years were from the 1910s all the way to the 40s, but were never built due to 9/11. Once 9/11 hit, they stopped construction on this other part of the resort because the resort is located around this lake called Hourglass Lake, and on one side of it is Pop Century Resort, and the other side they ended up building, instead of the legendary years, they built Art of Animation. And this was only a few years ago, and then they bridged the two together with what they call the Generation Gap Bridge. And being that they separated each resort, they kinda are smaller in size than the other value. So there's less walking, basically. Now let's talk about the theming. Now the theming has large, gigantic, iconic stuff from all the way from a gigantic big wheel to a Mickey phone. There is they're like huge, gigantic statues of these things. And they're all throughout the resort. And in each section, everything is themed to that decade. So the 50s are going to be all, sock hop and, 50s style memorabilia, all the way to the 90s, which is like computers and Walkmans and all that stuff. So they kind of have that going on as far as the decoration and the theming of those things. They also have the community areas. Now, they have a food court called Everything Pop, and they also have a gift shop. And this is Disney's first resort to offer a combined food court and gift shop with 5 specialty areas. They have a bakery, a grill, a market pizza, ethnic cuisine area. You get your choice of all the different foods that they offer. There is definitely something for everyone at this food court. They have a grab and go grocery section to take to your room, as well as a gift shop that sells candy, alcohol, Disney merchandise, and items from the classic years. You'll see like some classic toys and little things from the classic years that you can buy that kind of has a retro feel to it. You can walk right outside from there, and then you walk right into the Petals Pool Bar, which offers beer, wine, some mixed cocktails, not too exclusive. And I do believe they have some picky food type things there too. Now they have different rooms and different sections of rooms. They have a preferred rooms, and they have standard view rooms, and they have pool view rooms. Those go up in different prices. I would suggest, this is just my opinion, you don't really need any preferred view room, whatever. You pay an extra. It's not that far of a walk. Really, it's a small resort. It's like a French Quarter. It's a really, really small, quick 5-minute walk to the food court, and then the buses are right there. So you're really not, it's not a hike like some of the other resorts are. The moderates have the hikes. You are walking forever in the moderates. But the values, they're not that bad. And especially this one. They have 3 pools. Now, there are 3 pools on this resort. Most values only have 1. This one has 3. It has a main pool, which is a hippy dippy pool. I have a hard time saying that. The hippy dippy pool is the main pool, which is right outside the food court. And then they have 2 other quiet pools. The bowling pin pool, which is in the 50s section. And they have a computer pool, which is also in the 90s section. Unlike the moderates and the deluxe, they do not have slides, and they do not have a hot tub. So you lose out on that because it is a value, but they do heat the pool to 82 degrees, and they offer life vests. So it's not too bad. They have 2 playgrounds and a little splash area for the kids. So they basically have a lot of the stuff going on as far as that resort. Now, as far as location, this is located kind of near Animal Kingdom, and it's a short drive to any park. It's real short drive to Animal Kingdom, but it's not a bad as far as transportation-wise getting on a bus. Now, transportation, they have all boards mounted at the transportation where the buses pick you up, and they tell you what time the buses are going to be there. You want to go to Magic Kingdom, you look on the board, Magic Kingdom's bus going to be here in 7 minutes, whatever, and that will be able to take you to whatever parks you want to go, and you'll know a rough estimate on what time. They're not rocket scientists. This is not an actual mathematician equation. This is an average of what time the bus is going to get there. So that is for transport, and this, hands down, has the best transportation on property. Some reason the values have the better transportation than a deluxe and the moderates. They also fill up really quick. So when you're getting on these, you want to make sure you're getting there early to get to get on the bus early. If the park opens at 8, you don't want to get there 10 of 8 thinking, oh, it'll take 10 minutes to get there. No, it's not going to happen. You got to get there like 7:15, 7:30. Give yourself plenty of time to get to the parks. But these buses are the best on property, I think, hands down. So the room sizes, yeah, let's get into the rooms. Now the room sizes are real small. Compared to a deluxe and the value, you have 260 square feet in the value, where you got like 360 something feet in a deluxe. That's 100 square feet more for each resort. Now, before they did the refurbs in the rooms, you would only have 2 double beds. That was the average of the rooms, unless you wanted a king size bed. And they only offered the 2 double beds, which was the biggest downfall of this resort, because a lot of people want queen beds. It's huge to have a queen bed. So they recently, this is part of the improvements that they've added, they recently updated everything from the floor to the ceiling, bathrooms, everything. They got redone totally, and they added 2 queen beds. So that's a huge thing. I posted some pictures on my Facebook page. Check it out. Check out some of those pictures, because those are amazing. I mean, a lot of people saying that it kind of has an IKEA look. They got the hardwood floors now, and it's kind of really squared off and has an IKEA feel to it. But I don't think so. I think it's more or less a great version of what they did, and they took what people wanted and put it into a room. Meaning, they want easy access to put suitcases under the bed, so they raised up the beds. They wanted more USB ports. They added tons of USB ports everywhere. You know, they separated toilets and shower from the sink area. I mean, it's a small room. For 4 adults, this is a tight squeeze. But for parents with kids, with the 2 queen beds now, it's so much better. Now they added that. They also, part of the new improvement is they added a Dole Whip station. That's huge. People love the Dole Whip. When you're going to Disney, you have to have a Dole Whip. That is a big, big part of a Disney vacation. If you haven't had a Dole Whip, then you need to stop and go to Disney now and get a Dole Whip, because they are fantastic. They added the station to the food court area, which is an amazing addition, because people, there's only one other place you can get the Dole Whip at a resort, and that's a Polynesian. So that's a big plus just for value to have that. They also just added the minivan transportations from this resort to anywhere on property. So, as well, they started off the deluxe with the minivans, they've added the moderates, and then they added the value, which is the Pop Century. So now you have an added transportation from here to anywhere else. Now it's $25 fee to wherever you want, but it's available where it wasn't before. So the buses are fantastic. Now you have a minivan option, and on top of it, coming in by the end of this year, 2018, they're going to have a gondola station right from the Generation Gap Bridge. Now it's a gondola that's going to take you to Hollywood Studios and Epcot, I believe. So that is a third transportation from one value resort. That's ridiculous. You get 3 options in one resort. That's a value. One thing I'm worried about, are they going to jack the prices up now? I mean, we'll have to keep an eye on that. But you're getting huge. That's huge. That's like monorail, buses, and a boat. You have that deluxes. Now you have this at, I mean, you don't have a boat, but you have the gondola now. Totally, upscaled this resort into, you got the new rooms, you got new transportation, you have a Dole Whip station. The food is pretty good over here. It's not too bad. And the Art of Animation, which is just over the bridge, has an amazing food court. You can walk over there and go to that food court, and you'll get two options there because they're so close. You can just walk right over. Now, another option of this is when you're getting back from the bus on like a fireworks show, and you close in the park, and the buses are packed, you can jump an Art of Animation line to get back to your resort, because then all you have to do is get off at the Art of Animation and walk over the bridge, and you're at Pop Century. So there's so many options with this resort that I think makes it hugely a contender for moderates as well as deluxe. Before, where they had the double beds, where, people would be like, yeah, I don't know about that. If you're always on the go, if you're kids and you're always going to the parks all day long and you're not breaking until you come back and pass out, this is the room for you, because you're getting pass out. You get to come back and pass out in a queen bed now, and it's a better value and it's a better price and easier transportation. So this, in my book, is a great resort to get. Every resort has their ups and downs. I mean, doesn't have a slide, doesn't have a restaurant. The moderates have the restaurants, the deluxes have the restaurants. This one doesn't. It only has a food court. But with the other options, like I mentioned, with Uber Eats and other options that you have, this resort is creeping its way up the list. So definitely, if I were you, you're going to plan on a vacation, I would take a look at this resort, check it out. It's definitely a sleeper as far as resorts. And let me know what you think. Send me an email, goaskmickey@gmail.com. And if you're planning on a vacation, you should definitely look into this one. This has a great review. If you go on TripAdvisor, this review is fantastic over there. They really have stepped up their game with this resort. So check it out. We'll be back with the closing of the show in 2 minutes and 2 seconds. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, that's it. Thank you all for downloading and listening to this week's episode. I hope we gave you a little insight into the Pop Century Resort. So, something to consider when you're planning your next vacation. Don't forget to support the show with our new Amazon affiliate link. Anytime you do your shopping over at Amazon, click through our link on our webpage, and that will help you support the show. So we appreciate that so much. All right, I think that's it. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Spotify, iTunes. Leave us a review over at iTunes. Subscribe to us over there. And iHeartRadio, I think. And Podbean. Podbean's a new one. So check us out on all those places. And I think that's it. We are out of here. We're going to let you go on with your day. And thank you all for listening. And until next time, Disney Nation, those are the words.
Head on over to goaskmickey.com or check us out on Facebook or leave us a review on iTunes.